Hi guys, a little tip on the wrist hinge today. I get this question a lot, especially in the short game. Um, when should I hinge my wrists? How much should I hinge my wrists? Should I hinge my wrists at all on this shot, or maybe on another shot I should, and on this shot I shouldn't? Um, Let me just clear this up and say that there is going to be some wrist hinge on almost every single shot you play, and I say almost every shot. If you're hitting a 2-foot putt and you're like this, you're probably not going to use your wrists. But if you're hitting a chip shot, even if you watch instructional videos where the pro will say, "I'll keep your wrists really inactive," and then you'll see them moving, having a little tiny wrist hinge maybe. Now there's nothing wrong with this, and I want you to think about this in a full swing. So if I had a full swing and I get to the top of my backswing, my wrist hinge is around about 90 degrees. So I create a slight, maybe a 90-degree angle here. If I'm making a swing that's this big, I'm probably, let's say that's a third of my normal swing. I might create an angle there. I might create 30 degrees of that 90 degrees. So I might have 150-degree angle here, and maybe a 120-degree angle there, up to a 90-degree angle here. So now this is not something that has to be exact. It's just all I'm really saying in this is, if you feel like you need to hinge your wrists, maybe if you need the power, because the wrist is a major power source. If you feel like you need to hinge your wrist, then go ahead. But in general, you don't want to have to try to hinge your wrists excessively. The only time that I would ever suggest trying to hinge your wrists excessively is if you really had some dysfunction in the way you hinge your wrist, which, to be honest, for most golfers above beginner level, it is very, very rare. So I definitely see more of an issue when I get players in the short game who try to do two things. They try to keep their wrists really firm, and they try to keep their body still. And I always say, well, what's going to move the club? Something has to move the club, and it's either going to be your hands and arms and wrists, or it's going to be your body, or it's going to be a combination of everything, which is really what it should be. So I wouldn't say try to hinge your wrists, and I wouldn't say don't hinge your wrists. I would just say allow your wrists to do what they need to do, and you'll find that your short game will be much more free, your mind will be much more clear, and you'll tend to hit better shots.